Since we have learned how to create a pattern, now we are going to do the practical thing on the application. The application is called oscp.exe. This is not an offensive security binary, but a friend of mine has created a room on TryHackMe and I have his permission to do this, and I am going to open it in debugger. Now let's run the program, and before sending any buffer we need to interact with the application to see how to interact with the program and how we can overflow it. To do that I'm going to use the Python programming, and also I'm using sockets. If you don't know socket programming in Python, do not worry, it's very simple. After this program you will understand in detail. So socket, there is a module in the Python called socket. We are going to import this using import socket command. Now I am going to create a socket with an IP version 4 address and a TCP socket. IP version 4 in the sense means we send the packets with the source address as IP version 4, and as a TCP it creates a connection oriented. Now I am going to create this. S is equal to socket dot socket of socket dot AFINET, which is address family internet of IP version 4, and socket dot sock underscore stream. Streaming sockets are the TCP sockets which connects with the application and then it transfers the data. Now we need to find the IP address of this machine, and we can see the reasoning on the port 1337. Okay, now I'm going to open CMD and type IP config. Now you can see the IP address of the machine. We can interact via IP address and protocol. That's what socket means. Socket is a combination of IP address and the port number. Sorry, not protocol, it's a port. Now we need to connect to this. You can say s dot connect off, and inside this we need to pass a IP address and the port number as a tuple 192.168.189.128, and the port number is 1337. Now after connecting, the server sends a message. It's similar to FTP server, HTTP server and so on. These servers will send a message to us and we need to receive the message, and we will see what the message contains. To do that, s.receive of number of bytes I want to receive as a message, say 2048.decode. This decode method will decode the bytes into the normal human readable form. Otherwise it will be like /n/t with all escape with all special characters. So s.receive will receive the message and it decodes, and we are going to print the message onto our screen. Now finally I am going to close the socket, which I can do with s.close. Now let's run our Python program. Okay, the server sends us a message. Let's see, welcome to OSCP vulnerable server, enter help for help. So we need to send the help to get some help or any server commands we can interact with. Now let's say junk is equals to help. Now I am going to send this. Now let's say payload is equals to junk. Payload is equals to payload dot encode of raw unicode escape. So I am using the another variable payload to finally say that it's a final payload I want to send. Now I am going to use the encoding schema as raw unicode escape. It converts the bytes into as it is format. It does not allow uniform Unicode transformations, so that our bytes will be preserved as it is, and the help will send as a help and the server receive the message as a help. It does not go any changes. Now I am going to send this payload using send command. Now again the server sends us a message which we need to receive. I am just copying this code. Now we send the we connect to the server and server sends a message, and we also send a message help, and then the server sends a message. Now we are going to see that message. Okay, let's say welcome to SCP vulnerable server, and varied commands are help, overflow 1 value, overflow 2 value, overflow 3 value. So in this case we need to interact using the commands overflow 1 and the value. Now we are going to send the buffer using these commands. Now let's say capital A into say 1000 bytes of yes. Okay guys, at this point you can fuzz the application using the fuzzer, but doing the fuzzing things will take so much time for the video. That's why I'm just guessing 1000 bytes, and I'm going to send it as payload. Remember, the server accepts in the format overflow 1 and the value we are going to send is junk, which is 1000 years. Okay guys, now let's run our program, and our server did not overflow. Now let's increase just 2000 and let's see. And our server still did not overflow. Let's say 3000. Okay guys, my bad, I am not sending this. Okay, I removed the line of the send. Okay, let's start from 2000. Okay, my bad, I did not send the payload actually. Now you can see our buffer has been overflowed, and EAP contains AAS and ESP contains. You can see there are null bytes. Let's see if we can overflow with some more A values. Let's say 2500. Yeah, there you go. Now everything is overflown with, and if you scroll down you can see a lot of A's, which is good enough for our shell code. Now let me restart the program. Now what we are going to do is we are going to determine the offset at which EIP and ESP resides. To do that, we are going to use the Python pattern generator. You guys can download these files in the zip file. All the everything files you need to exercise are there in that. No need to worry. Now I am going to create a pattern of length 2500. Okay guys, this is our pattern. Okay, otherwise let me run in a Python IDE integrated development environment so that I can run at the same time two programs. Now let's run this. Let's say I want 2500 bytes of unique pattern. Now I am going to copy in my script. Pattern is equals to. Now I am going to say overflow 1 plus this pattern. Okay guys, now I am sending overflow 1 and the unique pattern, which consists of 2500 characters. Now let's run our program. Now you can see ESP value contains some random value. Let's copy to clipboard. Now if we just scroll up, you can see EIP value is 6464464A55, which is this value. Let's also copy to clipboard and see this one. This one is EIP and this one is ESP. Let's copy this and let's paste it in here. Okay, I'm sorry I did not give space. Okay, no problem. We can just print the index. It will print the pattern index of EIP and now the ESP. Let me restart the program. Remember, we are not sending any payload, we are just printing the indexes. Now we can see the at 1978 bytes of junk bytes we can overwrite EIP. And okay, let me write here 1978 bytes of junk bytes we can overwrite EIP, and then after 4 bytes we can overwrite ESP. Okay, let's see that one. Let's say junk is equals 1978. Yes, and let me fill EIP with B's and ESP with C's. And say remaining junk 2 is equals to capital D into 600. Just assuming. Say junk plus EIP plus ESP plus junk 2. Now let's run our Python program. Okay guys, now 1978 A's and EIP 4 B's and ESP 4 C's and remaining D's. Let's run the program and see. And perfect, you can see EIP 4242, which means B, and you can see EIP pointing to 4 B's and ESP pointing to 4 C's and remaining all D's. Perfect. Now we have total control over EIP. Now in the next videos we will see how to find the bad characters and how to take advantage of EIP and also buffer overflow.